What has made you nope right the frick out of a sexual encounter? Went for a Facebook booty call a while back. Her 7 and 9-year-old daughters kept walking in and she told me just to ignore them. She also insisted on blaring George Strait while we went at it. Between her kids walking in and all my exes live in Texas blaring from her speakers, I just couldn't do it. Nope the frick out. We were in his car fooling around after leaving the bar together. I asked why we couldn't go back his house. Said his wife was home. Nope. He didn't want to wake her up. How considerate of him. This is my favorite story to tell. I'm a type 1 diabetic and my nickname where I'm from is diabetes, so everyone knows I have it, even though some people would still be like, oh, you're actually a diabetic anyways. I met this girl at a house party one of my friends was throwing. This was back in 2010 to 2011. As the night goes on and drinks get consumed, we get all love drunk and go to bang it out. About halfway through our session, she randomly kicks me off and pushes me away. Stop, I can't do this. I freak out thinking that I have done something horribly wrong. What's going on? What happened? She looks straight at me and I crap you not says to me, I can't catch diabetes. All I could think to say was, you've got to be freaking kidding me. Her incredible response, and again, I swear on my inability to produce insulin. I'm not making any of this up. This is word for word burned into my memory. I can't get diabetes. It's like cancer. I just can't catch it. By the time she said cancer, I had my pants back on and was running down the stairs. I get back to the party and all my friends are like, oh, look who it is. How was it? You will never believe what the frick just happened to me. TLDR. My type 1 diabetes not only cock-blocked me but is apparently an STD similar to cancer. She wasn't lying. She really can't catch diabetes. I used to have hepatitis, but I swear I'm clean now. We had a party at my house. Roommates. I passed out sitting on the couch. I woke up with a raging hard-on and my roommate's wife, in only her pink bathrobe, was rubbing my dong through my pants while her husband was lustfully watching. I jumped up, spilled my beer all over myself and went to bed. I was about 16 and at this girl's house for a hookup type thing. We start getting to second base when she says go away grandpa. Confused as heck, I ask her what she meant. She said her grandfather died in the room, in the bed we were doing crap on, and he was trying to join in with us. I noped the frick out of Frisky Grandpa's House of Horrors and never called her again. Frisky Grandpa's House of Horrors. I'm so glad I scrolled down so far into this thread frick. I was a nope on person, and I don't blame the dude. Short version. I started crying about my ex and threw up. I literally never throw up from drinking, so that was a weird one for me. At least we were in my place and I made it to the bathroom. Yeah, he noped, and I cried and begged him not to leave . After that I decided that drinking with a broken heart is a bad idea. Holy crap, I've done this exact same thing. In high school, freshman year, I dated this girl for about a month. When we had sex for the first time, she rips off the condom, says she want me to drop my seed inside her cause she wants to start a family. Pulled my pants up and left immediately. Year later she has a kid with her new boyfriend. Shivers. Asked her if she was clean and she said yeah. It's a long story but a lot of stuff happened and it turns out that now I can't get STDs. I thought to myself, you know what? Nah, I don't want to have sex that bad, and left. Or she meant there are none left to get because she has them all. At the bar one night and it was pretty packed. I finally made it to the bar and this definite cougar comes over and starts hitting on me hard. I talk her up a bit, but play it cool. She's not bad looking, but not sure if I'm down just yet. I finally ask her what she'll have to drink. I wanted to just go ahead and buy her the drink so maybe she'd back off a bit since I knew that's what she wanted. Got her some sugary mixed shot and after she threw it back, leaned in lightning fast and laid her lips on me. I pulled back after a second as this hot younger chick ran up and screamed, "Mom, get out of here. You're ruining my night." Instantly turned around and got away from that fricked up family reunion. You did the right thing for sure, boo. But on the other hand, you could have also gone for the sportsman's double. Prior to divorce, wife wanted to have unprotected sex out of nowhere after literally 6 months of refusing to put out, and I suspected she was trying to get pregnant to prevent the impending separation. Nope. Or she'd barebacked someone else and wanted you to foot the bill. I felt something rubbing against me while I was inside her, and after feeling around in there I removed a very grey, very soggy, old tampon. That was the end of the night. You probably saved her a trip to the air. Super into this guy. After a few dates we're at his place. We're taking clothes off and he leaves the room to go to the washroom. I'm in bed waiting for him to return and feel something in the bed. It's a hot dog in a bun. Clearly a few days old, maybe older, with the fixings. He comes in, sees it and my horrified face, says he's so sorry, he'll get rid of it and proceeds to eat it. A gentleman would have shared. A girl I used to date and I were fricking in the dark. Unbeknownst to me my nose started bleeding. I went to grab her tea and they were wet. It took me a little while to realize what was going on, but once I did I immediately stopped. It was pretty embarrassing as she was covered in blood. It was a really hot summer with no AC, so apparently she just thought I was sweating intensely. Finding out that the guy, who at the moment had me in a very uncompromising position, got off on the idea of forcefully infecting others with HIV. I didn't stick around long enough to see if he was actually serious. I stopped hooking up for a good long while after that one. That's pretty freaking scary. Got to his place, walked into a room and saw that it was completely bare except for a couple of lights and a tarp spread across the floor. Immediately turned around and walked out the door, got in my car and left. Don't know what the tarp was for. He was either going to murder me or wanted me to pee on him. Either way, nope. She took off her shoes and the smell could have killed a horse. Nearly killed me. Smelled like a hobo in a recycling room. The mood was killed. I was nearly killed. I left both disgusted and concerned. Pretty girl though. Almost lost my virginity but didn't because of Pokemon. I was a teenage virgin in a long distance relationship. Boyfriend calls, says his parents will be out of town and I should come over. I scramble, trying to figure out what people wear to sex, and we didn't even have a Walmart in my town to buy lingerie, let alone somewhere classy. I make the 2-hour drive. We start making out in his bed, get a little hot and heavy, and I undress down to my sexiest bra and underwear. He gets up and goes to his desk, and I assume he's getting a condom, which got him huge bonus points because I was a virgin and didn't really know how to ask about stuff like that. Instead he pulls out a sketchbook, beams at me, opens to a page and goes, "See this drawing of Charmander I made?" I say, "Yes," and then he comes back to bed and starts flipping through his sketchbook, showing me his Pokemon drawings while I sit there in my bra and underwear, stunned by the turn of events. We do this for a good 15 minutes. Then later he tries to get us started up again, but I was just not having it. We fell asleep, still virgins, and woke up to watch Power Rangers because why the frick not at that point, right? When this girl I was hooking up with kept talking about how babies brighten her day, then she insisted we didn't use a condom. Wise move, my friend. Had a great first date with this one, a blast. Went back to her place, started to hit it doggy. She reaches over to her nightstand and pulls out a roll-up pouch, unrolls it and pulls out a syringe. Ask me if I ever tried H. Insta limp dong. I broke the frick out so quick I don't even remember getting dressed. I have a few instances I can think of. 1. While in the middle of losing my virginity after sneaking a boy into my room, in the wee hours of the morning, he suddenly jumped up and started pacing the floor. He really needed to crap. So I said the bathroom was immediately outside my door to the right. He opens the door and then slams it shut. My dad was in the kitchen, which was in clear view of my bedroom door. He ended up just standing there and crapping himself. I'll never forget that smell. And I didn't have air freshener, so I sprayed some flying insect spray that had a sweet smell to it. Anyway, when the coast was clear, I escort him to the bathroom where he gets in the shower. I had to make it look like it was me showering. Therefore I had to sit there in the bathroom while his crappy boxers stunk up the place. He gets out, puts his boxers in a few plastic bags and changes into fresh clothes. Then tries to continue the sex. I was like, you can go out the window. We still keep in touch on FB and he uses that as a funny story to tell our mutual friends. 2. I picked a dude up at a bar who was hands down the funniest person I'd ever met, and that was severely attractive to me. It also helped that he was severely attractive. While going down on me, he asked me if I could take some pictures of him with his phone. I grab it, and as I'm taking the picture, his girlfriend sends him a goodnight text. I just hand him the phone and he lets out an exhausted sigh. She won't stop telling me she loves me, and I don't want to let her on. Okay, kind of uncomfortable, but the coitus continues. He starts to get very rough with me, biting everywhere, making my lips bleed, calling me a W, basically using me as a sex doll, which would have been fine if discussed beforehand. I don't like to be ambushed. Then he grabs me by the throat and demanded I told him I loved him. Freaked me the frick out because of his crazy eyes. I had this intense sense of dread that's hard to describe, but it felt like in that moment I was in danger. So I just pushed him off of me, grabbed my clothes, completely wordless, and literally walked into the apartment complex hallway naked, where I got dressed on the stairs. 3. And last but not least, the guy who, while I was lying naked on his bed waiting for him, proceeds to casually pull out a needle from his nightstand and shoots up right in front of me. He slid into the floor giggling, and I just got dressed and left without him even noticing. You win this thread, and my sympathy. Very blatant, very obvious, genital warts. He said there were skin tags. I know warts when I see them. I don't need that crap in my butt. I don't need that crap in my butt. Poetic. Had third date sex. Things were going well, and then as we're lying there, she says, now that we're in a relationship, I need to be the one in charge. That means no P, and I need to access your Facebook account and email so that I know you aren't cheating on me. I noped out of that one. I was on vacation in the Dominican shortly after graduating high school with 5 of my friends. Met this cute Bolivian girl on our resort and we hit it off. Few hours later, I'm in her room. We're going at it. She repositions onto her hands and knees and tells me to put it in her butt. I ask for lube and she hands me a bottle. I was giddy with excitement cause I had always wanted to do anal. I lather both of us up and slowly slide in, but she had clearly done this a few times before. Now I'm pumping her hard and have thrown caution to the wind. We hear a key card go into her door and the handle turn. She frantically whispers novio, boyfriend, and I realize I have about 3 seconds before I get my butt beat. I pull out at lightning speed and she yelps. Liquid crap sprays all over my stomach and dong. I grab my shorts off the floor and run out the balcony door and hop the ledge. Thank God that room was on the first floor. I don't think the guy chased me, but I sprinted anyway. Still very naked and definitely covered in crap. I cleaned myself in the ocean and hit the bar. I just love the image of her boyfriend coming in and seeing her naked on the bed with a stream of crap all over the mattress. I was eating a lady out on her couch when she stopped me. She rolled onto the floor and reverse army crawled into her dog's bed and told me to take her there. Her 2 cocker spaniels were now awake, standing at attention on the side of their bed. I noped the frick out of that scene. I was almost ready to start dating again after a nice, long break, and after reading this thread I think I'm just going to stay single. Met a girl at a club and went back to her house. Everything is going fine, nothing out of the ordinary, until her housemate comes home. I was like, maybe we should stop, or at least close the door. She replies with, oh no, it's okay. He likes to listen and sometimes he watches from the hallway. She wasn't joking either. I put my clothes back on and walked out, and there he was fapping away in the fricking hallway. That was her husband, dude. Went to a very alternative punk girl's place for a booty call. She said she wanted to take a bath together and I was all for it. She goes to run water while I finish my drink. We're getting into it and head to the bathroom. We strip down and I get in the bathtub and sit down. Then I looked up at her and she was pulling razor blades out of a cabinet. She wanted to cut me and have me cut her. Nope. I've never gone from soaking wet to fully clothed and walking down a sidewalk so quickly in my life. I ghosted that girl and have no regrets. She started rubbing my chest in the exact same way my ex used to, and I realized I was still super in love with her and started to cry. So she noped the frick out of there. Not sure which of you I feel more sorry for. It was after a hookup. I wanted to leave and he tried to cling on me saying, "Oh please, don't go. I want to show you to my roommate." Spoiler alert, his roommate was in the freezer in pieces. Whenever she took her panties off it immediately smelled like 8 cans of shark crab. Told her I needed a cigarette and hit Mach 3 out of there. I let a woman take me home from a pub here in Edinburgh. She seemed a little bit sleazy but she had these J-cup boobs. Honestly, that had sort of got stuck in my eye and imagination. When we got to her place it was about 2 AM. There were like 7 kids running around in the flat, eating cake and candy and drinking Iron Brew straight from 2-liter bottles. They were, most of them about 12 or less years of age. Except one sullen 16-17-year-old boy who sprawled in a chair staring at me, and a dog running around. I went to the toilet and there was dog crap in the bathtub. The wheels for my mega boob fantasy night had just fallen off the wagon. I sort of didn't know what to do at first. I didn't want to stay but I didn't want to tell her in front of her little tribe that I wanted to bail and then have to sit there and wait for a taxi to turn up on the outskirts of the city in a housing estate and risk some sort of confrontation that could turn into a horror show. So, I went to bed and fooled around a little bit and then claimed to be too drunk. She drove me home in the morning. No way was I getting involved with that scene. Except one sullen 16-17-year-old boy who sprawled in a chair staring at me. This part just makes my heart hurt. Must be so hard for that kid to have a mom like that, and he's left to raise his brothers and sisters. It was late. I was doing the deed with a guy at his place from a hookup app when out of the corner of my eye I see another dude sitting there jerking it. I flew out of there. WTF. We need more details. My ex didn't have a condom so he wanted to use a sandwich bag instead. I left with so many unanswered questions in my head like, did this guy really ask to use a sandwich bag? Is that thing? Are people really using sandwich bags as protection? During my drunken single heyday I met a woman at a bar during my friend's birthday outing with whom I hit it off. We even made out in one of the restrooms. Sleazy, I know. We get back to her place and she informs me that her roommate will be home soon. Turns out he was her on and off again boyfriend who had helped her, financially, to get through her cancer treatment. Overwhelmed and quite uncomfortable I decided to bolt, despite her insistence. After I left her apartment I managed to get myself lost in the building and couldn't find a viable exit. I ended up having to crawl out of a window and managed to get out onto the side street near the building. I walked toward the main drag and ran into the birthday boy. We had a drink and parted ways. Single life in NYC never gets old. This chick who I kinda had a thing for a long time started making out with me at a party but she was biting my lip and face really hard. Then she told me she wanted me to frick her in the butt while showing me videos of her boyfriend jerking off. Went down with my magic fingers and felt some squishy. Too squishy. Turns out it was a soaking wad of toilet paper that got left behind. She pulled out her false teeth and offered me a gummer. Lost all the giblets in the front of her mouth in a car accident. For the sake of contributing to this post, we'll say I said no. God, this is the kind of stuff I scroll to the bottom for. Catfish. Clearly the person was handsome in their youth, had done a bunch of drugs and wore it on their face, and used pictures of someone else that looked a little like they used too. Early internet data here. Ran into a string of girls who were recovering H addicts. They all used pictures from when they were on H because they were skinnier back then. She asked me to carve my name in her back with a rather large knife while I fricked her butt. There were other names. Sounds like a non-app writing prompt. We were only 13. Summer fling. She was very adamant about wanting to frick, which I found both exciting and frightening considering I had never heard a girl talk like that before, and also didn't quite understand what that implied. We were hanging out unsupervised with a few friends at a house party and snuck off to some bedroom. Clothes came off and some kind of instinct took over me. I just knew that I had to put my face down there and finally figure out what this pee thing was all about. Maybe rub my face in it and see what happens. Well, as soon as I got down there, the most god-awful stench hit me. Like the first time you smell a rotting, dead animal. The smell of death. A primal, archetypal, ancestral memory that rushes to the surface and says, "Stop what you're doing right now. Something is wrong." I don't even remember what my excuse was, but I managed to calmly pull her panties back up, say something stupid and get the frick out. Years later I realized she probably had a yeast infection and didn't know. Also the way she was at 13, in general, not just the unusually high libido, implied she was being abused, probably by her father. After that summer, she mailed me a photo of herself spread eagle on a bed, photographer unknown, with a pretty explicit handwritten letter, which my mom opened and read. Good times. That crap was traumatic enough that it helped delay losing my virginity for a little too long. But I'm so freaking glad I didn't lose it to her. Girl in college asked me if I could pick up a specific cologne for our date. As it wasn't too expensive and I didn't currently have one, I agreed. Fast forward to the end of the date. She comes to take my shirt off and says you smell like my dad. I was out. Went to my buddy's girlfriend's place with him and ended up fingering his GF's twin sister. She smelled horrible, though I was too drunk to tell until afterwards. I noped out of sex at that moment and we ended up leaving very soon after. Apparently she smelled so bad my fingers reeked and the guys were gagging in the car on the ride home. So they made me hold my hand out the window the entire ride home. This was midwinter in Ontario, Canada. So they made me hold my hand out the window the entire ride home. This was midwinter in Ontario, Canada. Not their fault you grappled with the cooter of doom. Are you circumcised? No, I'm not. I want to lick your dong cheese. Instant mood killer. For the record, I don't have any smegma. I make sure my junk is always clean. I knew a few guys I noped out on that could fulfill that for them. Was fricking this girl doggy style and she started crapping everywhere. Guess you can say I literally fricked the crap out of her. It wasn't nearly as bad as most of these, but my puppy walked over, laid down next to my foot, sighed and laid her head down on my foot. It was so dang cute that it made sex super weird. I had to stop immediately. Yeah, was having sex with a girl who had a colorful history. Anyway, I was definitely wrapping it up and I had fingers her a bit. We start having sex and then this smell hits me. So bad. Like, sewer bad. Rotten flesh is what it smelled like. Anyway, I quickly end it before finishing and walk her to the bus stop ASAP. I get home and my apartment still smells so freaking bad. I end things with this girl and move on, but a week later I can still smell this, but not all the time. Turns out it wasn't the girl. It was a bag of spoiled sausages I must have thrown out my window when I was drunk or something, and it had been sitting in the sun, now mostly green, right under my window. The one I didn't open often but had opened the night I was sleeping with this girl because cuddles had made it so hot. Oh man. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.